the argument is you did it. Why? Because you loved it, right? The actions you do, you play sports, you go and you like are in a after school rec league for, I don't know, knitting or some shit. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. But you do it because you love it, right? Why do you read books? Oh, I love reading books. You're assigning the I love to that. You're giving it a value, and now you're saying, okay, well, that's cool, but it's just a phrase.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, at what point does it stop being a phrase?
And it stops being
and
feelings.
then you keep rewriting it, and then it's feelings, and then it's not just feelings, but now it's dramatic feelings.
Okay.
Because now it's next level shit. Welcome back, YouTube. It is Ray.
This is Max.
And this has been Drunk Words, Drunk Thoughts, where we give you great advice. We also do rants from time to time. We do stories.
Yeah.
Got some drinks. Today, we're drinking the mint. Especial. Alright? Straight from Cuba. For y'all. Nah. But it is really easy to make.
Yeah.
Just 2 ingredients.
Yeah.
Right here. Show you how to make it.
Let's go.
So, cheers, buddy.
Yeah, man. Bad. Yeah. Shout out to the straws.
Still straws?
Still straws.
So, interesting topic today.
Okay, what you got?
One that some people, I would say, might take issue with because, controversy in terms of, like, opinion.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What do you got?
So, I want to know, what is love?
Oh.
I'm not going to add the, like, baby don't hurt me, like, in the background or on the title card. But, a lot of people have different definitions of this. Like,
okay.
I'm going to tell you, obviously, ours in this video. But, before we hear from Max to start, like, are we all just animals, man? Or, like, what's going on?
In terms of, like, love, you mean?
I don't know, man. Like, I mean, you hear birds mate for life. And then that means that, like, there's some Canada goose out there that, like, the female or the male didn't make it through, like, the flight. So, like, they just alone forever.
Is it like
sad? That? Yeah, that's what they do, man. They mate for life. Yeah, most birds mate for life.
But, I mean, so basically...
So the argument is, did they love each other, right?
I mean...
Were they in love?
I'm sure they were.
Like, a lion...
Yeah.
Does he fall in love with the lioness after he comes in the pride, takes over the pride?
Nah.
He ain't love any of them.
I'm not saying that, but I feel like...
So then when he gets chased out of the pride, are those lionesses, like, sad, and they're like, yo, I'll get banished too because I loved it?
That doesn't happen.
I mean, it did in Lion King, the movie.
Okay, cool. So you got, like, the exception to the rule?
I mean, I'm saying, like, I don't know.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Not in that society. Like, when it's lions, it's just like, okay, you're out of the tribe now, and then, the guy comes in, and he's like, okay, you had little cubs, well...
Alright, so he ain't loved them neither. So, my question is then, Max, like, what's your definition, man? Like, what is love? I'm sure there's some people out there in the internet that would love to hear what Max has to say, on this.
I guess, like, I'll have to just get away from, like, the animals aspect that we got into. So just as, like, human beings, for me, it's really just having, like, a care about, like, someone. You feel strongly about someone to where you want to care for them, you want to make sure they're okay at whatever level. It's really, really basic. And then obviously, then you get into specifics, love for a child is a bit different than, loving a friend, and it's different than having a relationship with someone or whatnot.
See, I don't know, man. Like, I hear you talk about it. I'm like, but that ain't what goes on in my head. Like, okay. I'm like, the love I got for, like, my crew, man. Like, so you, my other boys.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like, that's up there, bro.
Yeah.
The love I got for, like, my girlfriend, like, that's up there too. But like, I would argue that, like, they're on the same level, if not, like, one's, like, a little higher. So I'm like,
fair enough.
My whole thing is, like, it is earned with me. For me, love is earned. Like, you don't get it because, like, somebody bought you flowers and there's been, like, one date or something like that. Like, you could be with somebody for 5 years, they ain't earn your love, you know? But you saying I love you, you know? Like you can only have that emotion for real. And you know when it's for real because you know how it feels because it felt different with everybody else and with everything else. Like you can have a dude that's your best friend and then, you know, you had another best friend before, man. You had another best friend before that. Man, I can think back to like the best friend I had in like kindergarten, man.
Yeah, same.
You know, I love that kid too.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if I seen this kid in the street, like I don't got love for him, man. You know, I'm like, hey, I wish you well, but like the reality is, I don't have love for this person.
Yeah.
Right. And at one point, you're only saying to yourself, at least I am. I'm like, yo, this person is your person to a degree, right? That's why you gave them that status. That's why you were like, yo, that love emotion, it's not just tossed out because when you said it, you meant it. And even when you didn't say it, you know when you mean it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's a finicky, tricky phrase. Those 3 words, I love you, can be passed out like, you know, bread at a communion or something like that. And it can be whatever it's meant to be for that person. But I'm not taking shots at the church. Sorry if it came across as that. But it can be passed out super easily.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it can mean nothing. And then it can be said somberly to like very few select people. And it can mean the world. Like the world. Like because you've given it that much gravity and pull over yourself. You know what I mean?
That's fair, but I mean, with all the examples that you brought in, like, if you had a broad definition, because I think that's what we're gonna go with, and then obviously we're gonna define.
I don't think that you can, though, man.
No,
that's the thing.
So for you, it's just like, it's, you know what it is. It's kind of like a little bit of like abstract, like art. It's like, you know what it is, you know what it feels like, you know what it looks like, but defining it for you doesn't make sense because there's so many levels to it.
For me, it's not that there's so many levels to it and I can't define it.
Okay.
For me, it's just like the relationships I have and the love that I feel for those people in those relationships, they continue to push it to a new level.
Okay.
To the point where I'm out here and I'm like rediscovering it. And I'm like, holy fuck, if this is what love is, man, what the fuck was I thinking when I was, you know, in this situation? What the fuck was I thinking when I was with that person? What the fuck was I thinking when I was hanging out with this dude or these people and giving them like everything that was the essence of myself? You know what I mean? Because the argument is you did it. Why? Because you loved it, right? The actions you do, you play sports, you know, you go and you like are in a after school rec league for, I don't know, knitting or some shit. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. But you do it because you love it, right? Why do you read books? Oh, I love reading books. You're assigning the I love to that. You're giving it a value, you know? And now you're saying, okay, well, that's cool, but it's just a phrase.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, at what point does it stop being a phrase?
And it stops being
and
feelings.
then you keep rewriting it, and then it's feelings, and then it's not just feelings, but now it's dramatic feelings.
Okay.
Because now it's next level shit. Yeah. And then I'm like, how do you define that, man?
Yeah. Okay. Well,
It's at no point. It's not because I don't comprehend it. It's just like,
no, I see what you're saying. It's just, it's like, it. Yeah. But I think like that's why like I brought in the art definition because I feel it's like that, right? Like someone can say, oh, I feel this way, or I like this, but they look at something else and they go, yeah, that's it. Like they just know, and tell them to actually have words to define it. They're like, I just know that this person I like or this person I love. Cool. And then whatever that person does in action, the way they interact with you, even the way they get in and out and then, you know, they conversate with you, makes you like, it's kind of like you renew like a subscription or whatever, because you're just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, they love me, cool. Okay, I know why. And then whoop, and then you resign again. And then, oh, they did this, yeah, okay. That confirms that the way I feel makes sense. And then on the flip side, obviously, you got people that, you know, their action brings it down to where you're just like, to your point, I don't know why I felt like that 2 years ago about this person, or 1 year ago, or why was I thinking? Because, and then you kind of look back at their action, you're like, it was so bad. Like, why did I have such strong feelings for what I'm getting here? So yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, no, I like your definition too. Like,
I mean, I'm happy you were able to pull a definition out of it.
nah, there's a definition to it for sure. Like, I wouldn't, basically, writing it down would be hard.
Yeah, I mean,
but it makes sense. I think for you it's kind of like me. I try to go really really basic, but for you it's like it's such an evolving thing that defining it kind of like you kind of lose the purpose on it, because you would basically have to pinpoint a moment and say, for this particular moment or for this situation I feel this way, and that's how I define love on that particular instance.
I think for me, man, like it's like we can talk until we're blue in the face about what it is and who it affects and everything like that, but yeah, there is one reality, and that reality is like, you're always going to start loving your family until they give you a reason to not love your family.
That's right? Correct.
So like the first love is always going to be your family.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Then comes friends. Then, from friends you develop relationships, and it's like, oh man, you start using it as like, an adjective. So like, yeah, then like you go into like fucking using it as an adjective. And like you've now developed relationships with friends and shit like that. But now it's like, oh man, well, I love being in that teacher's class. And it's a fucking adjective. And it's like now you're just tossing that shit out everywhere. Then you see girls that in high school, at least I did, that barely don't know each other. Like, they'd stab each other in the back first chance they get. They see each other in the hallway. Oh my God, I love you.
You're so lovely.
I love that bag. I love everything. And I'm like,
yeah.
But then you get older, man. You get older and you start realizing, like, you almost feel like they're besmirching it. Like, you can't just be saying, like, I love that shit. Like, I don't say that shit now. I'm not like, oh, I'm grocery shopping. Like, oh, get that. I love that cereal. Like, I'm like, no, get the cereal I like over there. Like,
Yeah, nah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I need to, like, I don't know, brighten up. I don't know.
No, I think you understand, like, the not necessarily the consequences, but like the impact of like saying those words. Like,
it just waters it down, man. It waters it down for everybody else.
For sure.
Because now if you're gonna tell me that you love my outfit, you love my coat, you love my shoes, all within the same 3 breaths, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, but I love you too. I'm like, so if I was an object of clothing, like, I'm the same value? Like,
yeah. So I think that's when like context will happen, obviously, because if it's someone you barely know and then like they're just showering you with that, it's like, are they trying to obtain something by saying this or whatnot? But if it's somebody that you care about and it's real, and then they're like, okay, look, you're killing this outfit, and it comes from a place of of love, so you won't mind those. I always think about this: if you say something to someone, anything, and then since we're on the topic of love, right? If you say to someone, hey, I love you, right? Yeah, it's cute to say, but I always think back, like, that person should be able to question you and then say why. And then the minute they say why, you should have like basically a list that you can like riddle off your head. Yep. And be like, well, that's why. Hey, you've pulled this, and then that I liked about you. I love that about you. I love that about you. Because that shows it's real. But if you're just like, I love you, why? And you're like, the minute you have the up.
Yeah, it's invalid. You're just using words to use them.
Yep.
So I think that's a good point to leave off.
Yeah.
Guys, this rant has been brought to you by myself, Ray.
And Max.
And this has been Drunk Words, Drunk Thoughts, where, again, we do rants sometimes, we do advice sometimes, we do stories sometimes, and we do drinks most of the time. Please feel free to hit that like button. Please feel free to comment down below. Tell us if we're way off. Tell us if we hit it on the head. We like hearing that too.
Yep.
Very few people tell us that. So maybe it appealed to you.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Exactly. Please feel free to subscribe as well. Help us get to 100 subscribers. Yep. We're on our way there.
Yep.
And there's a notification bell. What do we do to it?
We hit the bell. Let's go.
And we're out.